Three great forces rule the world: stupidity, fear, and greed. If A is success in life, then A equals X plus Y plus Z, where X is work, Y is play, and Z is to keep your mouth shut. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. The intelligent person avoids three things in life: in youth, lust; in maturity, arrogance; in old age, greed. Two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. See a selection of the best Albert Einstein quotes. Different thoughts give you an alternative and will help to reveal your opinion. If you want to hear interesting and not ordinary thoughts, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Try not to become a man of success. Rather become a man of value. Problems cannot be solved with the same level of thinking that created them. If a mess on the table means a mess in the head, then what does an empty table mean? There is only one path to greatness, and that path is through suffering. Blind belief in authority is the greatest enemy of truth. You never fail until you stop trying. Past is dead. Future is uncertain. Present is all you have. So eat, drink, and live merry. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Wisdom is not a product of schooling, but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. Only those who attempt the absurd can achieve the impossible. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Do not grow old, no matter how long you live. Never cease to stand like curious children before the great mystery into which we were born. The only knowledge that can advance us on the path of development is the knowledge that the imagination is capable of anything, and everything that is possible in our imagination is possible in reality. Life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is to live as if there were none. They say that everything that happens is for the better, and it is strictly up to us to turn our loss into our victory. The only sure way to avoid making mistakes is to have no new ideas. The only source of knowledge is experience. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. Example isn't another way to teach. It is the only way to teach. Never memorize something that you can look up. 5 things to never share with anyone: your problems, your projects, your ideas, your mistakes and regrets from the past, your income. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. It's strange to be known so universally and yet be so lonely. Weak people revenge. Strong people forgive. Intelligent people ignore. The woman who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The woman who walks alone is likely to find herself in places no one has ever been before. Let us not forget that human knowledge and skills alone cannot lead humanity to a happy and dignified life. Since the mathematicians have taken up the theory of relativity, I no longer understand it myself. Intelligence is not the ability to store information, but to know where to find it. The laws of mathematics that have anything to do with the real world are unreliable, and unreliable mathematical laws have nothing to do with the real world. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. You should talk to everyone the same way, whether it's a scavenger or a university president. Time is what prevents everything from happening at once. Ethical human behavior must be based on empathy, education, and community relations. No religious basis is required for this. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. For those of us who believe in physics, the dividing line between past, present, and future is only an illusion, no matter how solid it may be. Sufficient simplicity for every wise man, and it is simplicity that makes him wise. For God is simple, such is his substance and souls. When a blind bug crawls over the surface of a ball, it does not notice that the path it is making is curved. You might have noticed it. Possessions, outward success, publicity, luxury. To me, these have always been contemptible. I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best for both the body and the mind. Mathematics is the only perfect way to fool yourself. Truth is that which stands the test of experience. What a sad era when it is easier to smash an atom than a prejudice. Theory is when everything is known, but nothing works. Practice is when everything works, but no one knows why. We combine theory and practice. Nothing works, and no one knows why. Words were and remain an empty sound, and, serving the ideal only in words, It is impossible to die for it. But a person is created not by what a person hears and says, but by labor and activity. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. The tragedy of experiencing oneself as separate from all others is the delusion that becomes our prison. I'd rather be an optimist and a fool than a pessimist and right. The overemphasis on a purely intellectual stance in our education, often all about practice and facts, has led directly to the devaluation of ethical values. Genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. Our beliefs and ideas are often a trap that limits our possibilities. We all know that light travels faster than sound. That's why certain people appear bright until you hear them speak. There are only two ways to live life. The first is that miracles do not exist. The second one is like miracles all around. It is not that I'm so smart, but I stay with the questions much longer. Morality is the basis of all human values. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. No one itches if it doesn't itch. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. It is better to believe than not to believe, because with faith, everything becomes possible. You should not teach your students anything. You just have to create the conditions in which they will learn on their own. God does not play dice. Order is needed only for a fool. Genius rules over chaos. You can't blame gravity for making people fall in love. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. To break through a wall with your forehead, you need either a large run-up or a lot of foreheads. Student is not a container you have to fill, but a torch you have to light up. Through coincidence, God maintains anonymity. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school.